Good morning and a very warm welcome to Business Live Middle East webinar on how to master remote company culture. My name is Poonam Chawla and I am the Associate Publisher of Business Live Middle East.
As mentioned, the topic of today's webinar is how to master remote company culture. And we have a diverse panel, both in terms of expertise and geography, to discuss the implications of working remotely. And we are delighted to be joined by Engineer Amir Fadil, Managing Director of Competence HR, a human capital services consultancy. Our next speaker is Mr. Luca Alam, Managing Director, PhD UAE. Next speaker is Mr. KV Deepu, President and Head of Operations, Bajaj Alliance General Insurance Company, India. What we are finding is probably we are over communicating, like video conferences, online meetings, phone calls, WhatsApp chats. These seem to be never ending. So in your opinion, when you look at the last 2 months, what has worked, what has not worked, and how are you managing things at your end?
I think there has definitely been in the last 2 to 3 months a radical shift in how we've been communicating. If I think about it myself, and I've compared this Ramadan period to other Ramadan periods, I have never been busier. I've never communicated more. I'm finding that towards the end of every single day, I'm losing my voice because I'm constantly being on video calls, or I'm answering telephone calls, or I'm on WhatsApp. So I think even now, as we're having this live broadcast, I'm even worried that someone's going to be calling me on Teams, or someone's going to be calling me on Zoom. So it's just a new reality that we're living in. And even small things when it comes to communication that you wouldn't even think about. So for example, a lot of people, when they're talking, they use hand gestures to talk. When you're now communicating virtually and over video, you don't have those hand gestures. So the concentration levels that you have as humans in interaction is actually different. So I have to really pay attention to what people are saying much more than I would if I could rely on other stimulus, such as hand gesturing.
You hear a lot of theories when you read literature. People are saying that the way we work is going to be the biggest shift because of the coronavirus pandemic. And going forward from here, there are all sorts of predictions. People saying people are going to move into smaller offices, less cars on the road, and very few people will be commuting to work. There's going to be a geographically diverse workforce. Now, where does the truth lie? And I want to again bring in Luca. Is it going to be a complete transformation? Is the reality somewhere in between? Where does remote working go from here?
There would be a shift. If I was to give you a percentage, I would presume, or I would estimate a sort of an 80-20 kind of split. So 80% of our life in general will remain the same, but there will be a 20% sort of fundamental shift. And most of that will be related to how we work. So for example, in my job, I have to frequently travel to different territories, either GCC or even beyond.
You have a different set of challenges. Now, what the pandemic has shown that certain businesses lend themselves to an online model better. And one of the prime examples is skilling and training. You don't need to be in a physical environment to learn. You can go online and learn. Now, and I know that your company and a number of other companies in Oman who are in this space do physical classroom training in that format. Now, is that a threat to your business? And how are you going to negotiate that?
In the Gulf, in the GCC, 94% of the companies have not actually implemented any sort of remote working plans till March of 2020, that is. So we've kind of been thrown in, 94% of the companies, that's pretty, staggering. Having said that, there is actually 25% less turnover in employees with companies that actually allow them to work.
Okay, let's talk about tools and solutions. There's no disputing that, technology is going to be the biggest enabler for remote working. And the last couple of months, you have statistics. Zoom video conferencing used to be something like 10 million calls in a day. Now it's gone up from December to March to 200 video conferences a day. Software as a service has gone through the roof. Now, on the flip side, if you have poor infrastructure and you have poor technology, then that's going to be a big barrier for remote working. And in countries like India, I don't know whether that kind of connectivity exists even in the remote parts of the country. Now, how can these be overcome, and what are the enablers, solutions, tools which will make working from home, remote working effective? Deepu.
There was a very interesting, Gartner study, which essentially said that now that most companies have had to suddenly, overnight, move to the work from home scenario, there is a sudden rejig in terms of IT investment. Whereas earlier companies were focusing on transformation and innovation, suddenly, they find the need to shift a large part of their investment towards basic infrastructure, because you basically need to make sure that, all the people are able to work from home. So to that extent, I think that massive shift in terms of resourcing to ensure that digital collaboration tools can work. There's enough investment in bandwidth, in assets, so on and so.
I mean, are people asking you, how do I prepare myself from a technological point of view? How do I prepare myself for remote working? If you were to give me three top things that company need to do, what would it be?
I would say, one needs to maintain a similar routine as, one does when they're actually coming physically to the office. Same time going to bed, same time waking up, pretty much dressing up even as you would go to work. I do that. I personally do that very religiously. Kind of puts me in the mood, if you will. And then, of course, within the house, you might want to select a comfortable but quiet, without any distractions space. So you might want to invest in a small little desk and a proper comfortable office chair. That is something that you want to do. In terms of video calls or rather communicating, you need to know that you have to compensate for face-to-face conversations. But you also need to know that over communication can also be a bad thing, can be a harmful thing. Every time you have a conversation with someone or a video call, and then you follow it up with an email, and then you follow it up with a text, it's almost like walking into someone's office several times for the same damn topic. So so you need to be wary of that.
So my question was, how do you facilitate highly complex or emotionally charged conversations when people aren't face to face?
One of the toughest things you can do is to give people bad news, especially if it's coming to a contract termination and doing it over video. No, it's one of the most emotionally charged moments, and the fact that you're doing it over technology is extremely difficult. There was a movie called Up in the Air. I don't know if you've seen it with George Clooney, where he trains his protege to let go of people over video, even though they're in the next room, because they say that it's easier to do that because you don't have that emotional connection. The problem is that, yes, that may be true. I don't agree with it though, and I think the very least the employee deserves is to have those conversations face to face.
During this lockdown in the last 2 months, have you done something that you haven't done for a long time or you never expected to do? Deepu.
Okay. So one is I have learned to appreciate my maid much more, because I have become the housemaid at home in terms of drying clothes, in terms of sweeping the floor. So I really appreciate her value now, and I can't wait for the maid to come back.
That brings us to an end of today's webinar. Thank you, Mr. Luka Alam, Engineer Amir Al-Fadil, Mr. KV Deepu, for sharing your incisive insights. A big thanks to all our guests for watching today's webinar.